Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard! Kai Havertz in the Champions League final! Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him, but it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver! Matic takes the net off!
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Hey look, we lost the game, but at least we won the possession battle. That's what matters, right? Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in a virtual room filled with everybody, all the Lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Berth, I've got Chris, and you've got moments lined up. What were those moments from the weekend? Because there are people out there that care, others less so. I care.
Well, to be fair with you, like, I've been a bit busy recently, and I've moved out officially now. So that's what I've been up to. So that's kind of a bit of a highlight of the weekend that I've kind of officially moved out now. I also played golf and shot my best ever round, which was a pretty good highlight. A bit boring, but pretty cool.
Fair play, fair play. Ollie, what was it? What was your highlight?
I saw my sister's performance, didn't I? It was very good.
She did. Awesome.
She was very good.
Yes.
Yeah, she did really well. I'm very proud.
Sweet. And Chris?
I don't know if I've got one.
I knew someone let the team down.
Well, this is the problem you see, because when you have a weekend filled with football, it either goes one way or the other. You either have a great weekend or a shit one, and yeah, it was the latter.
Shit one, was it, Chris, by any chance?
Yeah,
if you're call a spade a spade.
Pauline.
Yeah, it was a shit one, mate.
It's a good job I've got something. And listeners, you already know. You've seen it on the Twitter. Lanus, which you probably pronounced terribly, versus Tigray. 2-2, 90th minute, last night. 30-year-old Lanus striker, Walter Bow, whatever, controls a cross on his chest outside the box, overhead kicks it into the top right corner to win the game 3-2. I do love it when we get our yearly Argentine League Puskas contender. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one this year. Tell you, could be one of them.
It was a great goal.
Oh, it's so good. Just the audacity to do it.
I think the maddest thing about that is that he's 30 and I'm exactly the same age. And if I tried to do that, I'd be out for about 10 weeks.
I used to get quite cocky about overhead kicks, thinking they're not that difficult. I've tried just to make contact with the ball. It's not that
really
easy.
hard.
It's
really
so hard. And then you land on your back and you go, oh, I don't want to do that again. It hurts.
Oh no, yeah. If you do it and you miss and you like land square on your back and it wins you, it's horrible.
Yeah, it sucks. But before we dive into the news, we've got Shevva shoutouts, and we got 4 of them. We've never had 4. I don't think we've had 4. So first up is Scotty D. Nola. Y'all are cooking. I'm here in New Orleans and love listening to you all twice a week. I look forward to your spicy takes on everything about the club we all love. Keep it up and ready for another season together. Next up,
Nice.
That was a good one. That was a very good one.
Hey, I love a 5-star. I really do. We've got Giga and they put, if only the actual Chelsea team were this good. Great job, guys. This pod is one of the great things to look forward to after Chelsea games. In the past 2 dreadful years as a fan, you guys bring the sunshine, especially Chris. If you're surprised by having US fans, you'd be shocked to find you have at least one in Canada. Keep up the good work.
That's dripping in sarcasm, that is.
I know.
I tell you what, I guarantee somewhere deep in America, there's a little cult following of Chris, and like people have like got a little shrine, and like it's a religion of Chris, and I wish that is a thing.
I am the most positive person on this pod, I'll have you know.
You're not. I'll tell you that for free. You are not.
Everyone knows good old Chris's sound drop.
It annoys me, you know.
Yeah, that was a classic. The fact that we had messages from people saying they thought he was on the show because of that. I was like, he doesn't just say that. He says other stuff.
To be fair, over time, if we get enough clips, we won't need him anymore.
AI Chris.
Yeah.
That is a worry. That is
my word. Oh my word. And next up, we've got Most Entertaining Chelsea Pod by Tyler. I've been listening for a couple of years now, and listening to the episodes is genuinely a highlight of my week. The guys are proper supporters of the club and always have entertaining takes and talking points. Between the episodes and their group chats, it makes it a lot easier to feel part of the Chelsea community, especially here in America, where it can be hard to feel connected to other supporters. Thank you.
Wow, a lot of love from America today. And
Getting
Canada.
a lot of love
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Someone needs to
Yeah,
humble us.
It's good.
Send
It's
us
good.
hate mail.
And finally, no curses has put, love the show. Hey guys, Drew from Virginia in the US. Love the show. You guys find the right mix of content to make the show enjoyable, regardless of what's going on in the world of football. Best part is I can always count on Chris to bring the optimism after a poor
That's twice now.
Chelsea performance. Keep up the good work up the chat.
Next
See?
week, can I
Telling you.
actually like big love for Chris? But next week, can we have our shout outs? Only people called Chris are allowed to have a shout out next week. I think that should be dedicated to Chris himself.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
he must be the
I'm
most
so
positive.
optimistic.
Yeah, he must be because he's the only person with 2 reviews today who's saying so.
Yeah, that's true.
Correct.
I mean,
The fans don't lie, Ollie.
No, they
technically,
don't.
I'm called Chris, by the way. So maybe
That
they
is
could
true.
have, maybe, you know.
I mean,
maybe.
they weren't referring to you. You're too positive, so sorry.
No, true. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Keep them coming. We really, genuinely, really appreciate them. And with that, we have some news to discuss. Well, I did not like that negativity.
That was Chris, by the way.
me.
That was Chris, by the way.
Wow, that was all.
It
Of
was
course it was.
Chris.
Right. Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid is a here we go. It's a 5-year deal. It's a €40 million fee. What are your thoughts on the conclusion of this saga that was a saga?
Yeah, I just don't like it. I really don't like it. I like this is so different, I think, to the Mount situation. I just think Gallagher loved the club. I genuinely think if he could, he would have stayed. I just genuinely feel like he's been pushed out, and I really just don't like it. It leaves a proper bitter taste in your mouth, and he's going to be a big, big miss, real big miss for on the pitch and off the pitch. Yeah, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, Chris.
I'm really happy. I think it's about time because he can't pass forwards. He just runs around. He's got no technical ability. I think it's time that he went. The club don't need him. We've got much better midfilders.
He named
Sorry,
some.
I thought I'd just jump on the bandwagon there. I thought that was what we was doing now.
No, it's gold.
In all seriousness, though, I'm completely with Beth. I think the club have handled it terribly. I think to cast aside a player who had such a good season is ridiculous. To say that he doesn't suit a style of play when he's adapted to different roles under different managers and performed again, I think is crazy. I mean, I understand it from the profit point of view and for PSR. And yes, we did need to thin the squad out, but then there's links now that we're going to replace him. So you've got the same problem. You've still got the same amount of players, but it makes no sense. I just think it's setting a really, really bad precedent. And I'm just waiting for the day that it happens to a player who all of these morons online like, and then we'll see what they say.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. Before I grab Ollie on this, I mean, I've genuinely given it some thought. I'm not gonna like hot take it, but I'm bringing back my street food analogy. That's that. I mean, I feel like I'm first in line for my favourite stall because look, I love Conor. I really do, but it's like I'm being handed my slice of pizza and told, you know what, today it's our final day. We're closing down forever, and I only feel like that. And he got spoilt anyway, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm sad to see Conor go. I am. I was a little excited to see us link with Celtic's Matt O'Reilly, which I then had a new sound drop for, which should be played whenever we have a Danish player or a Dane linked with us. And then apparently he's going to Brighton, which I don't like. I don't like that. I'm just gutted he's gone. Well, going, because I thought he'd have a chance. I thought he had a chance, but that's just the way this club is. It's just. I mean, Ollie, help me out.
I mean, the club got what they wanted, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know, they got their pure profit, and they managed to successfully vilify Gallagher against a lot of the fan base. In doing so, and then they sold him. You know, too much fanfare. So yeah, there's not really much else to be said other than the club got exactly what it wanted. And if you recognize maybe slightly the bitter indifference in my voice there when I say that, you can see what I think of it.
You know, the thing is though, he's not the best player we've ever sold. I don't think anyone is saying that. we've lost better players than Conor Gallagher. There's no doubt about that. And he's not, world class. But I don't think people are taking into account the effect it has on not only the players we've got now, but the ones we might want to sign. Because you've got to think he performed in the top end of our squad last season and captained us for, let's face it, most of the season while the other two were sat in the treatment room. And then he has literally just been cast aside and even told that he wasn't allowed to train with the first team. Every player in that dressing room will be sat there now thinking, what's to stop the club from doing that to me?
Yeah.
Every player who we might sign will think, well, hold on, now I could go there and have a really good season and want to stay, and the club could completely freeze me out. So is that an environment I want to go into? People don't seem to think that these things have a knock-on effect. It's like they just think everyone will sweep it under the carpet and never talk about it again. But it will have an effect in the dressing room, because I don't think he would have got the armband if he wasn't a well-liked member of the squad last season.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So that has had an effect now on the dressing room. And if it happens next summer to a Colwill or a Reece James, we're in dangerous territory then.
Yeah.
I mean, what did I say? What do I always say about Conor Gallagher? He sets the standard physically and mentally for the team.
100%.
So what's going to happen to that standard now he's gone? I don't know.
It's the last time I felt so frustrated at a sale. This wasn't even a sale, so you could say it doesn't count. Rudiger. He left on a free, and Christensen to lose both for free. That's annoying. And we know the ownership they claim it's so we don't lose another player on a free. Maybe offer a better deal then. Well, there you go.
Well, yeah.
I want to bring up as well. I've got to bring up this a minute. What Darmesh said on Sky Sports earlier today, because he claimed that the decision from Conor was made with 1 minute to go before the deadline that was imposed by Atletico. Now, come on. That's kind of, I feel they pulled that one out of thin air. There is no way that they know that information. No way. I could tell you that Conor made his decision after seeing Simeone's face in his morning coffee. And you know what? I'd believe that more. They might as well have said he used a magic 8 ball to decide what his future was. I don't believe it. Not at all.
Yeah. I've seen a load of people online as well, like mainly the ones who don't like Gallagher, saying, just go. And what's he stalling for? He's going to a Champions League club, and what more does he want? And you think they realise this is a human being, right? Who might not want to go and live in Spain, might be thinking about, do I want to move away from family?
Yeah.
That they're not robots, people. They are
FIFA.
Real. No, they are real people who have lives rooted here.
Yeah.
The thing is as well,
he's
Chris,
from London his whole life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
This is what I'll add on to that as well. He's literally breathed Chelsea since he was a young kid. Like, he's grew up with Chelsea. He started at Chelsea, got the captain's armband at his boyhood club, Chelsea fan, all this. That you can't just leave that. Like, if that was me, obviously I'll never be in that position, but if that was me, it'd be a real hard thing to do. And everything that Chris says, I totally agree with.
Yeah.
People aren't robots. Conor Gallagher, he seems like a humble guy. On the surface, it looks like it's a real tough decision for him to make, but it's one that he had really no choice, and it's going to be tough for him. And it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't settle in Atletico. It's a great move for him. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to really hope it works out, but it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't quite make it over there just because of his roots here. Yeah,
it's not easy to go and live when you're so accustomed to living in one country to then move to a completely different. Yeah, there's a difference in the league and how they play versus the Premier League. However, there is that also. First of all, how well does he know Spanish? How well does he feel that he'll integrate within Spain, the culture, the weather, everything else? We don't know. And that's a big decision. And, he had the deadline. I respect what Atletico are doing because they want to know one way or the other. However, he's made a tough call, and he's been forced to make that. Let's not pretend. Right. Go on, Ollie.
One last thing. I back him to do well. Atletico,
I hope he does. I hope he proves everyone wrong.
He's going to be playing under a coach that suits his style of football. He's going to be adored by a lot of the fans. The Spanish fans tend to really like the English kids when they go out there. So, there's already that precedent with Bellingham, of course. So I think he'll do really well. The fans will actually appreciate him, and he'll go on to do well. So we have to wish him well.
Right,
Yeah,
time for a very quick trip in the elevator of Chelsea news on a Monday. I know it's madness, but there's a lot here. So, Chelsea are pursuing a deal to recruit Samu Omorodion for a fee in the region of 34.4 million. Chelsea are remaining in the market for a right-footed winger, but signing both Omorodion and Osimhen could potentially change that plan and see Jackson played out wide more. Chelsea have included matching rights in the deal should Atletico agree to sell Gallagher in the future. Alfie Gilchrist is looking to join Sheffield United on loan. Chelsea will play the losers of SC Braga and Servette in the Conference League playoff. David Datro Fofana is expected to leave Chelsea this summer on loan with a possible obligation to buy clause. And Osimhen, as of literally this second from Fabrizio, there are no changes on that deal. He will not reduce his salary and he's not open to the straight loan / open buy option right now. What do you want to talk about?
Well, Osimhen doesn't want to come.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if he doesn't want to come. I don't know.
No, because if he really wanted to come, he'd make it happen. The fact that he's putting his foot down suggests to me that he doesn't want to come. And that means if we do it, it could be another Lukaku situation. When Lukaku came, his heart wasn't really in it. And if it goes wrong, we all know what happens. The fact that you just said in that news, by the way, that with Gallagher going to Atleti, we've put a matching clause in that if they ever want to sell him, we can match it. Well, that just makes the sale even more stupid, because that is us just saying we might actually want him back at some point when we've give up on this possession-based football and we need a good player again. We might get him back. Make your mind up. You're either getting rid of him or you're not. Jesus,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, one thing I've got is honestly, I think I've said it in the group or I've said it somewhere. I couldn't give a fuck anymore about the transfer window, because when it opens, I'm like, okay. I used to be so hyped about who we might sign, who we could sign, and who we did sign. But under Clear Lake's ownership, I'd rather watch paint dry. Or
do you think that's because we don't sign top players anymore?
We just sign anyone.
We don't sign exciting players, do we?
I think it's the impact of social media with all the reporting and stuff. So you can't get excited anymore.
I don't know, because I'd rather, honestly, I'd rather watch paint dry or get into a debate about the best kind of cheese, because the transfer window is just meh. Bring me a nice brie. That's what I want. I just can't get hyped anymore, because every player we sign is potential. What about now? Now is important. And right now we need top players, but it's the whole, they cost a lot of money and we don't want to do that.
Well, what I would say to that is, and I do agree with yours and Chris's point, I think Ollie's actually bang on in the fact that social media has ruined every transfer there's ever been now. When he was, say, like 04, 05, I remember when we signed Michael Essien, I didn't hear about that on TV. I didn't hear about, literally all of a sudden he was just in a Chelsea shirt like at Stamford Bridge. I was like, oh, brilliant, wicked, this is class. That's the excitement you get. Now, the excitement, like most things with football and anything really, social media has just zapped all the enjoyment out of it. And that's what we live in.
It's a bit like, imagine if Christmas as a kid, your parents had wrapped all your presents up but gave you a list of everything they'd brought you.
Yes.
You wouldn't be excited going down the stairs, would you? Because you already know what you've got.
No, but
my
it would
gold
also
iPhone.
You'd also have to make sure that you had an exhaustive discussion about the strengths and weaknesses of every item on that list for months in advance.
Yeah. That's so true.
Oh, yeah. You know what, listeners? I want to know, has your love and excitement for the transfer window died under our new ownership? And in fact, tell us why. Maybe it's exactly what the lads have said. Maybe it is just we signed too many players. Let us know. So, time for a really positive match report. It's sponsored by, we lost 4-2, but Chris, we won the possession battle 56-44. I am lifting that trophy high above my head. So
that's all what matters.
It is. So, of course, winners and losers, we kick off with the winners. There are loads. I've got loads. Who have you got? How many have you got? I found 2.
I got 3, but it was a real struggle to find 3.
Oh.
And I've got 3. See, positive.
I get well, my internet's back. That's a winner. There we go. Didn't count. I mean, I watched the game by the internet, so there's something. So my first winner? Maybe we've all got him. Romeo Lavia.
Yeah.
Yes, he's on mine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's quietly having a good pre-season. He is the classic like a new signing player because all we've known is his injury woes from last season. He injured first game back, played Palace, injured again. But this pre-season, I've seen a player that's able to win possession, start the counter attack. He's got energy. He's calm on the ball. He's kind of like he's calm as one of my cats when they're basking in the sunlight. And he even set up Madueke for the goal. Take your flowers, Romeo, because you're a winner. You were outstanding.
Yep.
I think very good.
He's one of the only players in this whole preseason who can actually kind of hold his head up high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players are still getting up to speed, but he's kind of been ready from the get-go, which is a really nice thing to see from a player that was out for so long.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more with Ollie. He's just looked... And it's weird because I always seemingly forget that we've got Romeo Lavia. But when I watch him, and I've watched him the past couple of games, he's been fantastic. There's been real bright spark, and he's good in possession. He's relatively quick as well, which is good. He's a real good option to have in midfield. You know, I think he's got that elegance about him, but he's also got the bruteness of Caicedo. So if he stays fit, he's going to be a real crucial player to us. I just don't see how Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall all fit into the same team, or who's going to start. I just don't know what's going to happen there. But Lavia, out of the four of them, is easily looked the best so far.
Chris, anything before you go on to your second winner?
No, I agree with what you boys have just said about him. I think the thing that's impressed me most about him is on the ball. I think he's a lot better than what I remember of him at Southampton. He has impressed me. He has a range of passing, which I think is something we don't have a lot of in midfield. He's very comfortable in possession, playing short, but as we've seen with the Madueke goal, he can play forward longer, quickly. So he is someone who's had a really good pre-season, and it's just about now carrying that on into the season.
Yeah,
that's what it matters.
Hopefully he stays fit. Hopefully,
yeah.
I will tell you, Chris, to give me your second winner, but I have a Fabrizio Romano tweet in front of me. It's not here we go.
The other reason nobody's excited for the transfer window anymore.
Oh, this is a great deal. Atletico Madrid are set to accept Chelsea's proposal for Samu Omrodion. It's worth around 35 million. It depends, though, on Julian Alvarez getting done. Once that's done, green light. Wow. Whoa! I'm not excited. Anyway.
Good price range.
Well, oh, don't give me hope. Chris, second winner. Come on, help me out.
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, he was one of mine.
Yeah, he was mine. He was my second goal as well.
I actually think he's had an understated good pre-season.
Yep.
For someone who hasn't really started. I think he's come on in most games and made an impact.
He
positively.
suits Maresca ball, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he did. That's how City played.
Goals.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I actually think, again, we've said this before, I think Sterling's massively overhated by some people in the fan base, and I actually think he's more important to us than people care to admit.
Do you know what I've noticed about Sterling is every single player who comes through who is like joining the squad for the first time. Josh Achiampong, he said it recently. One of the guys who was helping him bed into the squad and get used to everything was Sterling. And every time he's mentioned when a story like that comes through.
Oh, fair play.
Exactly. But the thing is as well, he's held off. We haven't got anyone else on that side who's better than Raheem Sterling.
Agreed.
Oh, 100%.
But people just don't want to admit it. They still don't want Sterling starting. They'd rather keep giving Mudryk a chance.
I'd rather not.
You know, he might be good, but Sterling is good now, so that's what I'm worried about. I am actually shocked that he hasn't been starting more games, because it seems as though we get to half time in these games and whoever's on that left hand side has been shit. So he brings Sterling on. Well, if you know that he can come on and make an impact, just start him then. I wouldn't be shocked if he forces his way into the team before the end of pre-season.
Yeah, good shout. Ollie, second loser.
It's third
winner. I need to stop saying that. I need to stop. I'm so used to this game.
First one was Lavia, second one was Sterling. Got my third one. A bit of a different sort of idea. Oscar Bob. He was really good against us. He played really, really well. And you can tell why City don't want to sell him because he seems very talented indeed. That was more or less all I had. I told you I was struggling for winners.
Hey, he is Norwegian, so I want another Scandinavian player. And you know what? We've done well buying from their academy. Let's keep doing it. That won't fail. Won't fail. Berth, who's a winner?
Yeah, I've got no more winners. It
Oh.
was just Raheem Sterling and Lavia.
Is it just you and Chris and I?
Yeah, I only had 2 this week.
Wow.
I only had 2 this week. I know I always say about 3, but it's just me. I had 2 this week.
You know what? I'll close mine out before we go to Chris. From a loser to a winner. Literally. Noni Madueke. I'll give out prizes on this show when you're good. And he was good. He came on. He added threat down the right channel. He delivered a fine cross for the Sterling goal. And then he scored one of his own. He might frustrate me at times. He might frustrate me. However, August 18th, he starts.
Yeah, I think he has to start.
100%. He has to start. Madueke on the right, Sterling on the left. Chris, who's your final?
Where's Palmer playing?
Where's playing?
I don't know.
Where's Jackson playing?
I'm not in charge. It doesn't
striker.
matter. It doesn't matter what I say. Chris, who's your final winner?
I've got Nkunku, which I think some people might see as a bit kind because I don't think the experiment with using him as a false 9 worked.
No,
he's not a 9.
It was
He's not
really
a 9.
bad.
How many times do I have to say it, man? He's not a 9.
He was ineffective there, but when he got shifted back later in the second half, you saw straight away with setting up the Gue chance how good Nkunku is. That as soon as he was in an area which he should be operating in, he had an effect on the game. And I just think I think he's probably the only other player aside from Lavia who can come out of pre-season saying I have improved.
That's fair. That's fair. Right. Losers. I, of course, have 3. And I don't know if we've all got this guy on the list.
Probably. I know exactly what you're on about. But yeah, I have.
He reminds me. It's Mikhailo Mudryk, by the way.
Yeah, I've got him. Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He
I
is
didn't
not
put
mine
him because I knew you lot would.
Same here. Yeah, and I've dogged him enough this season.
This dude, he turned up in the last chance saloon. He's made more appearances in this pre-season losers section than a comedian at a comedy club. And the only joke is that we paid £62 million to sign him because he offered nothing going forward in that game. Literally nothing. I see many on social saying give him till January, but for me, stick a fork in him. He's done. He has all the flair and pace to beat any player, but he's got no footballing IQ. If I'm Mudryk, and this is something Chris said on a previous episode, if I'm Mudryk, I'm literally saying to my agent, get me a move before the end of this window because forget my time at Chelsea, my time in a top league could be over.
I don't even know who we're interested in taking him now. I think his stock is so low.
Yeah,
no, I don't even know where he could go.
He's a bit like, he reminds me of like a film in the MCU post Endgame. It might be okay soon. There might be one.
I don't know. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, I love that film. I saw it Friday. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
But that's the thing. You only get every now and then. Whilst, before Endgame, there was like, you very rarely saw a miss. Very rarely. But Mudryk just doesn't, I don't see anything. And like I keep saying, who we selling him to? I still say to this day, we signed him to piss off Arsenal. There was no plan. It was, we'll have him because Arsenal want him. I don't know if whoever, I can't remember who also said Mudryk, but go for it.
It was me, yeah. Pretty much the same reasons what you just said there, Marky, to be honest. It's just time has absolutely run out for him. I don't see a way where you just can't teach football IQ. And it's not something you can coach, it's not something you can work on. Either you have it or you don't. You look at the elite football players in the world, they just naturally have it. They know where to be. You look at Nkunku, for instance. He has elite footballing IQ. He just seems to know where he is, know where to be. Sterling, great IQ. Knows to be in the right place. All right, he doesn't always finish the chances, but he knows where to be, who to pass to, this and that. Palmer, same again. Mudryk, when he gets the ball, you just know what's going to happen. He looks lost when he's in pockets of spaces. He runs into defenders all the time. Yes, he's quick, but he never utilises it. His first touch is so heavy. Shooting's erratic, he's erratic, and that footballing IQ will let him down. And no big team will want to buy him because of that.
one thing, and it's a player on the other side, Haaland. Now, hot take, I don't think he's world class because his visibility. I think it's his intelligence that makes him score them goals. I know he's got
100%.
because he's
100%.
look what he does. Don't look at the stats. Ignore all that for a sec. Watch him in a game. Watch how he's using his brain. He knows where the ball's going to be, and he holds back. Then he goes straight in for that ball. That's how he's so good at scoring. He's always there because that's what's helping him. His IQ puts him in them positions so he can score.
Your footballing IQ can make your weaknesses not
exactly
look like weaknesses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Thiago Silva, for instance, has unbelievable IQ, footballing IQ. He was very slow towards the end of his career, but he made up for it for knowing where to be, how to position himself.
And he was almost never beaten, was he?
Yeah, exactly. When he was never beat for pace, and that's the footballing IQ. Mudryk has none of that, and that's a shame. It is a shame, but he hasn't.
Yeah, I agree with you fully, Burr.
Right, so we're back with games. He's back playing, so he's back on the losers list. Enzo Fernandez.
I knew he made a good ball though. He had a good through ball. That's about it. But he had that through ball.
Yeah. Don't worry. I've seen. I saw that highlight 54,000 times on Twitter. That one pass in 60 minutes of football. Ball. The problem with Enzo is all last season, Poch was getting slagged off for where he was playing him, and then Maresca's put him in exactly the same place as Poch did. So I imagine that's going to turn the fan base at some point when they still insist on defending this guy. The reason why he's a loser for me is Romeo Lavia.
Yeah, good shout.
4 weeks ago, the general consensus amongst majority of the fan base that you see on the internet was the team should be built around Enzo Fernandez. He's world class. We've got to get the team built around him. He's got to play in his favourite position, blah, 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 blah. 4 weeks later, and after his performance in the City game, everyone's going, I think Romeo Lavia is better. So Romeo Lavia, a guy who hasn't played football for a year, in 4 weeks has impressed more people than Enzo Fernandez has in 2 years.
Yeah,
you can't. People have got to stop telling me he's world class. He's world class at what?
Yeah,
because it's not making goals, it's not scoring goals, it's not controlling games. He's got an okay passing range, but so do most Premier League midfielders.
I'll tell you what he's world class at. He's world class at living rent free in your head.
Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah,
that's gold.
That is so fair.
He is absolutely world class at that. Maybe the best in the world at that.
What blew my mind was the smallest amount of space I saw between Caicedo and Enzo was when they were on the plane together in that photo. Because the space they had between each other, that Man City were just going, oh, okay, we'll go through there. We'll go through there.
You know what though? My concern is that Caicedo Enzo pivot could be the downfall of another manager who's being forced into playing it because they both cost so much. They don't work together.
No, 100%.
Stop doing it. This is like the Gerrard Lampard Scholes thing for England that made so many managers fail there, trying to shoehorn people in, pick the best people. And if he isn't one of the best people, leave him on the bench. I don't give a shit if he costs 10 quid or 100 million quid. If he doesn't fit in the team, he doesn't fit. And at the moment, Lavia's playing better. Caicedo played better last season.
Yeah,
Dewsbury Hall probably suits the more advanced role better. Palmer's can come in there and Kunku can play there. He doesn't play there, and it's that simple. Stop trying to shoehorn him in just because he cost a lot of money.
That's the thing. That's the only reason he's playing. Shoehorned in anyway. For me, Caicedo, Lavia could do that role. Caicedo, a trio of Caicedo, Lavia, and Dewsbury Hall. I could see it. I mean, Romeo Lavia did create chances and go up the pitch for Southampton. He can do it for us.
Scored against us as well.
Exactly.
Don't forget that. Yeah.
Exactly. Ollie, who's one of your losers?
First loser for me is Caicedo. He was like the Tin Man in the rain because oh boy was he rusty.
He really was.
Especially the second goal. Like careless pass, giving it away. It was really City pressed us a lot in that game. They put us under a really quite a lot of pressure most of the game. And Caicedo just either he's not fit enough yet, or he's just not used to the system enough yet to deal with it. So he had a poor game by his standards. I've no doubt in him to like do better in the future. I just think he's got to shake that rust off, ready for the season.
Do you think that's a concern though? Because I've seen some people making that reason as well with Caicedo and Enzo both in this game, that they was rusty. It was their first game of pre-season. It was their first game of pre-season for us. They've literally just finished a tournament. They should be the fittest and sharpest players in the squad. They've literally just finished playing football. So
I'm not sure with Caicedo, to be honest. Like
they haven't had a massive extended break.
That might be the point, though.
That's
their body is broken down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
so. Yes, they're
that would
sharp,
be-
but are they fit?
That would be an excuse for tiredness, but not sharpness, surely.
Surely that's the same thing, though. Sure, if someone's tired, then they ain't going to be as sharp.
Mm,
Yeah, I know.
Because you're not.
potentially-
Your surroundings
I'm just
aren't
willing.
there, are they?
I'm just not willing to
Yeah.
dive down his neck yet, because like he's built up a lot of goodwill in the second half of last season.
No, I like
Obviously, it's his
Caicedo
first game back in
and-
pre-season.
yeah.
I'm not gonna dive down his neck, but yeah, just needs to play better than that when we actually play them in the league, because we can't afford those little mistakes, because they will capitalize on those.
Right.
100%.
I'm gonna go, because we've all got a loser out. I will go Berth. Who's your second one?
It's not actually a player. It's sort of a saying, I suppose. Playing out from the back is a
awful.
loser
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
awful.
God.
Good
yeah.
God. Good God. Yeah, you can say Man City's press was good, and it was. It's Man City. You should know what they're like by now. Our passing was terrible. Not one of those defenders, or midfielders for that matter, filled me with any confidence when they was on the ball. And that's where Thiago Silva would also be missed. Because Colwell, I don't think, is as composed on the ball. When he's facing forwards, yes. With his back to a defender, I think he does scare me. I don't think, you got Badiashile, Disasi, Fofana, I don't think it's great on the ball. None of them fill me with confidence at all at the minute, and that's a big, big worry. And then you got Caicedo giving the ball away in stupid positions. Enzo doesn't look sharp. I mean, I think he's all right on the ball, don't get me wrong, but he still doesn't look sharp at the minute. I'm worried in that sense, because if you want to play possession-based football and you want to play out from the back, and you've also got Sanchez as well, who's terrible with his feet, I don't see how we're going to progress and be a good possession-based team if we haven't got the players to play this style of play. And that could equally be Maresca's downfall.
Yeah, you're right. I just want to jump quickly. I just saw a message just popped up in our little DMs about check the Atletico subreddit, and I just did. No one's happy about them losing Rodion, and no one is happy about them signing Conor Gallagher because of his wages.
Well,
That's
I'm
interesting.
surprised on the one on Gallagher, but Rodion is highly lauded as one of their
Interesting.
best academy products.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. Right, I'm going to go to you, Ollie. You're speaking. Who's your second loser?
Second loser for me is kind of similar to what Berth was getting at in terms of the system, but I've also said sort of in brackets Maresca, because I think some of the way he set us up in this game just wasn't right. Like you had Mudryk at right wing, you had Gusto at left wing at times. Occasionally you had Enzo sort of playing as a number 9 when Nkunku would drop out, and it altogether just looked really clunky and awkward and disjointed, and it just didn't really go together. And I appreciate that it's pre-season and this is the time to experiment with stuff like this, because you never know, maybe it works. Like we've seen, for example, Gusto in midfield, and we've learned that works really nicely. But swapping a winger over from its favoured side, sticking ostensibly what is usually a fullback as a left winger, having a central midfielder who's known for his passing, try and play as a false 9, what made him think that all those things together was going to make it work? Because on the face of it, it doesn't look, it's not a great look. It looks a bit like he was kind of lost and didn't really know where to put these guys, and just sort of put them in where it looked like maybe he thought they could play to work, and it really didn't. I worry he's got the same thing that Guardiola's got, where he kind of overthinks stuff, and
Great.
And that could be troubling for us.
Yeah, you're not wrong. My second loser was stupid mistakes. And look, mistakes happen on the pitch, no doubt about that. But we messed up. We let in a goal, and instead of buckling down, resetting, we turned right around and made another blunder. Boom. City capitalised, scored again. That wasn't even what annoyed me though. That ain't a one-time fluke. This happened twice in the game in quick succession, back to back, blink of an eye. We conceded twice in a single minute.
Switched off, silly.
Exactly. That ain't bad luck. That's a full breakdown, and you can't say that if we want to compete at the top level. You can't do it because I respect you learning a new system, a new offense, or how to play. But our entire defense were making hospital passes over and over, and the Chelsea medical bill would be in the millions on the insurance because what were we doing? It was just like no one learned, no one woke up, no one reset and thought, let me calm down. It was, I'm going to do it again.
No, you know what that is though? That's because players now and coaches now, they don't adapt anything that they're doing based on what's actually happening in the game.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
like Burford's absolutely right when he said playing out from the back was a loser. We couldn't do it. City was pressing. We'd already gave goals away from doing it. Stop doing it then. It's really not that difficult. Let's just stop doing it. It's not working today. Let's do something different. But no. This is how we play. We have to persevere. We have to do it. People saying as well that, oh, if you take away the mistakes for the goals, I thought we played really well. That's all right. That'll get us points, won't it, in the league? That's all right, lads. Don't worry. But yeah, we've conceded 4, but if you take them away, we won that. What a stupid argument to make. Because yes, I agree. I do agree. I think the performance wasn't terrible. I thought we put together some nice patterns of play. We looked okay going forward. We caused them some problems against a really shit Man City team, let's be fair. But that doesn't get you the result. And it's the result that matters. People don't seem to understand that, yes, it's fine going into the season saying, oh, it might take a while for us to get our style of play. That won't look great, though, when we're sat in the relegation zone after 5 games with 1 win. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's a results business. You have to get results while you're learning the style of play. You can't just keep going, oh, well, bless them. They are trying to learn how to play football.
Yeah, you're right. Chris, who's your... have you got one more loser left or have you got your second?
I've got 2.
I want to hear him. Let's hear him.
So I've got Mark Gue. Terrible miss. Put through 1-on-1 and not only missed the target, he kept the ball in play. That's how bad the shot was. The finish was horrendous. Yes. And again, just another case of him showing that he's not ready to be thrust into that sort of environment under that sort of pressure, like people are saying. My last one is just pre-season in general, because aside from a couple of players, I don't think anything positive's come out of this pre-season. I don't particularly think the players have learned to play a certain way. They certainly haven't learned to do it successfully. Defensively, all the same problems we had last season are still there. We still look terrible on the transition. Midfield looks like it can't defend counter-attacks. Defenders look uncomfortable defending wide areas. All the same problems we had last season. Under Poch, off the ball, we've still got, and we haven't solved any of those problems. We do look I'd say we look quite pleasing to watch at times. When we get the patterns of play right, they look great. But 2 weeks away from the season, I would have expected to see a little bit more continuity in it by now. And people saying it's going to take time. Well, Arnie Slot at Liverpool isn't taking time. They've gone to the US, playing a slightly different way of playing, with players playing in a different style there in terms of what Klopp did. They've won all their pre-season games and quite convincingly. And Postecoglou took over at Tottenham last pre-season, did exactly the same thing. Straight away, you saw his style of play. They implemented it. They were successful at it. They won games in pre-season. This whole notion that style of play takes time to learn is bullshit. A style of play that doesn't work takes a long time to learn. A style of play that works, you get. And it just, if it fits your squad, it fits.
Yeah,
there'll be things that you have to
design.
Yeah, there'll be things that you'll have to tweak, but you'll see it instantly. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what they're trying to do. That works. If you remember back to when Maurizio Sarri come in
Yes.
He instantly changed our style
He
of
did.
play. You could
Yeah.
you could notice it. It was very noticeable from what we was before to what we was then. It didn't take him 15 games to learn. The
100%.
players understood it because he knew how to get the players in the right positions to get the best out of them. And Maresca has failed miserably at implementing a style of play that fills you with confidence that we're going to get results.
Yeah, it's fair. Berth, roll out your losers.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of adds on to what Chris is saying, but my last loser was Maresca. Not had a great pre-season. Don't look at it. Players still don't look like they know what they're doing tactically. Defensively, I think this possession-based style of play, it just isn't going to work. I don't think we've got the right person out the back for it, to be honest with you. All good defenders in their own right, but I don't think we can play out from the back. And I think that's something we need to change and adapt to. But it doesn't seem like we're going to, because that's just how modern football works these days. And I know it's pre-season, and it could all change when we beat Man City in the first day of the season. But it just doesn't look good at the minute. I mean, I've read reports that like the players like Maresca and that they want to do well from Maresca and all that, and that's really positive to hear. But if you're not picking up results, I don't care how much you like the coach. It just it's a recipe for disaster, that. And this pre-season has not filled me with joy. I'm not looking forward to the start of the season. And Maresca's got to take the fall for it, unfortunately.
Ollie, who are your final losers?
Slightly counter to both of you guys. My final loser is the fans. Not because they've had a hard time this preseason, although it's not been fabulous. I will grant you that. It's just like, we lost. We drew against Wrexham. Okay, not great. We lost to Celtic, and the sky was falling in. Beat Club America 3-0. Oh, suddenly we're back.
We're back.
Then lose 4-2 to City, and the sky's falling in again. It's like, come on. Do you not get tired of like constantly just switching your opinion based on what the most recent result was? Like, just have a little bit of perspective. Like, I know, I understand what you guys are saying. It's like, things that are intuitively useful and right for the squad will work straight away. And that's true. But I still think we are going to have to give Maresca time, because he's going to need it. Whether we think he deserves it or not is irrelevant. He's going to need it in order to get this lot playing in a way that is actually going to be successful. So, like, we just have to make it work at this point.
You know what? I do agree with you, actually, Ollie. I mean, I think, whilst it hasn't looked good on Maresca, and obviously he's still one of my losers, I think because it's such a young team, it will have to take time. And that's the problem with any manager coming in now. Sorry, Poch started terribly last season. It's going to have to take time because we haven't got the experience for it to work now. Yeah. And that's the difference between previous managers.
And that's the thing is I've clocked onto this lately. And, for all our success as Chelsea fans, like, the only language we understand is winning.
Yeah, 100%, right? Yeah.
So if you're doing anything else, and if you're not doing anything else, and if you're doing anything else and you're not winning, then that is going to be cause for criticism. And Maresca's going to have to learn that pretty fast.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We all know what's coming. Let's dive into what I found for $4.99 or less that's better value than a preseason game.
My favorite.
Watch along ticket.
This has been my favorite bit of all the preseason.
Oh, I feel today's decent. I think it's decent because first up, for just $2.35, we've got some Nivea moisturising cream, 50 millilitres. It's perfect to apply after a Chelsea game where you've been frowning for 90 minutes. Next.
Wow, $2.35 though now. Jeez, expensive, isn't it?
Well, for a mere £3, we have a Spontex dustpan and brush set. It's got a large capacity, and it says for any mess, except for cleaning up this Chelsea team, of course. Can't
ergonomic.
Yeah, and finally, I had to scrounge around for a penny because this one's a full £5, but it's a good one, and it's from the Chelsea Mega Store. So don't say I don't give back. And it's a Chelsea stress ball because trust me, you're going to need it this season. Based off pre-season, you're going to need it.
That's a good sale.
I've
gone
already
left.
They know what they're doing.
There's some interesting stuff on Football Club Mega Stores that you just go. There's like gnomes and there's loads of stuff you just think, why would I buy that? But whatever. Yeah. So
also £5 for a stress ball. Sort it out, Chelsea. That was outrageous.
Yeah, I know.
You say that, but
it has the badge on it.
I'll go on a bit of a tangent here and a real random one as well. So last week I went to watch the cricket at Trent Bridge, and the lad who I went with is a Nottingham Forest fan. Now, if you've ever been to Trent Bridge, Nottingham Forest ground is right next to the ground. So I went into the store with him. Obviously, I felt sick as soon as I walked in. They were selling Notts Forest ducks not real ducks, obviously rubber ducks that you put in the bath. You know how much they cost?
How much?
Tenner?
$7.99.
That is really
Wow,
expensive.
for a rubber duck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Do you think that when we weren't selling the stress ball very well, and so we went right, just make the preseason games $4.99. That'll do it.
I've just found. I was just curious, just to see. Everton sell their own shower gel. Chelsea also have
So
an
you can
ice
smell
scraper.
like Everton.
What? Why? Some
I think
reindeer
next week,
antlers for Man City.
another segment of the show next week, we should all go to a random Premier League club shop online and find the most random thing, and then come into the pod.
Yeah.
Oh
Sounds
my
good.
God!
Yep.
A Crystal Palace take their shot.
No, right, come on, right. No, we're doing this next episode.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, I think
episode.
next episode. Yeah.
Right. Questions. Quaresma's questions. First up, Vic Ferreira. No confirmation though, if he's related to Paulo. Don't know. But he asked, what do you guys think of Noni Madueke's role at Chelsea? We should sell him, in my opinion. Bloody hell. Hold up
Ooh,
there.
hot take.
He's been our most promising player of the pre-season. No.
He's our best winger, damn it.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not. He's not.
No,
Well,
he's our
Who's
second
better?
best winger, I guess. But
Palmer and Kunku, if you class them as wingers.
Yeah.
Sterling,
I suppose
you could
it
argue,
depends
still
what you
better.
classify them as, because this
Mudryk.
season Palmer's not going to be playing there, is he?
No.
I think that's a bit harsh on Madueke. I think he's been one of the only people at preseason who looked like he's been trying, to be honest.
He always
tries a lot
looks.
of stuff, doesn't always come off. His game's very
Yeah.
one-dimensional. These are all things that we've talked about him in the past. But I don't know. I think there's a player in there.
Yeah,
He always looks like he's trying to make something happen, and that says a lot. I think that's a good sign, real good sign. That.
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing else for me to add on that. Chris, anything?
Yeah, I agree with Ollie and Berth. I like Madueke. I think he does. He is one of those. He's frustrating because he gives the ball away a lot, but that is because he's trying to actually do stuff with it. He's not someone who just wants to keep the ball and get his stats up. He's willing to take risks, and I think you need that in your team.
Yeah,
I worry for him a little bit just because his competition is Cole Palmer, and he's not better than Cole Palmer. So that could limit his game time depending on where Maresca plays Palmer.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Josh has asked, do you think we can finish top half of the table if the defense plays this shite all year? No.
Oh, no, that's shite. No chance.
No way.
No.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
God,
No way.
I mean, we could finish top of the bottom half.
No.
11th finish.
Yeah, the championship maybe.
Are we
Not-
better
not
than
the
9
Premier
of the
League.
2? You know what bugged me the most, actually, was seeing fans was like, oh, SC Braga's a tough game if they're the ones who lose against Sevilla. I'm like, I'm sorry, are we really at that stage where we just no?
In
You
fairness,
can't have that attitude. You've lost already.
I thought exactly the same thing. No, when I was in the draw, I thought, oh, Braga's not an easy game.
No. Oh my word.
Yeah,
We were beating
that's
Real
where we're at
Madrid.
now.
Come on. No.
I know we're not doing our Premier League predictions yet, but I've seen a lot of people on TikTok doing the prediction thing, and a lot of people are putting us fourth or fifth.
We're not finishing fourth. I just don't see it.
See what they're basing that on. I really don't understand. I'd love to be really optimistic, but I think it'd be crazy to say that we're going to get
let's
top
not.
four.
There's being optimistic and there's just being stupid. We're not finishing fourth.
Yeah.
We're not finishing. Right. Finally, Paul, I love this question. What position or position group are you most confident in and most concerned about so far? I love that question.
The first one, none. The last question, all of them.
You know what? I'll put mine forward. I put most confident fullback role because you've got Gusto, you've got Cucurella, you've got Chilwell, you've got Reece James. To me, that's 3 or 4 top class fullbacks.
One of these things just doesn't belong here. One of these things just doesn't belong.
Most concerned would be the midfield because this is again Chris. This is Chris. He's in my head. He lives rent free up here, and that's because I don't see where the goals are coming from. I like Dewsbury Hall, but we haven't seen anything from him in the Premier League outside the relegation Leicester season. We've got Carney Chukwuemeka, who hasn't been able to stay off the medical table. Enzo doesn't score. Caicedo, Lavia, Leslie, and Cassidy the same. Our highest scoring midfielder in the Premier League last season. Who was it, guys?
Gallagher.
It was Gallagher, and he's just been sold. I don't see goals. I don't see
To be
goals
fair,
there.
though, Gallagher didn't score loads in the Prem last year. I
Scored
think he scored
5.
about 4.
I think
5, yeah.
More than anyone else.
As it stands right now, I think I'm most secure about right wing.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because you got Palmer there, you got Madueke there, and of course in a season you'll have Esteval, who's probably going to play in that same spot as well. So I'm not worried about that. Worried a bit about number 9, like as a striker, because at the moment all we've got is Jackson, as you know, in terms of starting first team caliber. You know, you got Gu, who's impressed at times and not been great in others. You got David Datro Fofana, he's getting sold.
He's been sold, yeah.
And Kunku's not a 9. Like, so I feel like we're either going to need to get a 9, or or we need to promote one of like the 12 under 20-year-olds that we have who play that position as well. I don't know. I'm just not that confident in our ability to score goals, especially if Jackson is like still out when the season begins.
Yeah, and Maradion
actually,
could be getting closer because Fabrizio's just said Atletico's have improved their offer to Man City to 75 million euros. Ooh,
wow.
that's a lot of money for a player they got for 12. Wow,
that is a lot of money.
Wow. Anyway,
But
Berth, what were you saying?
I actually think I'm a bit worried about centre back. I'm a bit worried about centre back because I know we've got a lot of options there. None of them fill me with any confidence at all. And that's a real worry. I like Fofana. I do like Colwill, but they've both got a mistake in them. I used to really like Badiashile, but he seems like he's lost confidence.
Yeah.
Disasi on his day is fantastic. I've only seen that once or twice. That's a concern for me. A real concern for me.
And Alfie Gilchrist is going on loan.
Yeah.
You have got Tosin, who was good at Fulham, but
We used to have Rudiger, Christensen, and Thiago Silva, and we didn't get a single fee for any of them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Chris, what's yours? Your confidence in one and your not confidence in another?
The one I'm confident in, I actually think is the attack. I'm a bit like the opposite to Ollie. I think we've got enough people up there who are going to score goals. I think
I do agree with scoring goals. I think it's just I don't know how many of them are going to come from the striker.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But I think Jackson will still get goals because he gets himself into good positions to finish off moves. I think he showed that last season. I'm expecting a lot of goals from Nkunku if he stays fit. Palmer, I still think will get a lot of goals just because he's class.
Mudryk and Sterling will both chip in.
Yeah, I think Sterling will get a few if he plays. I think Mudryk will get one. But
what a goal it'll be!
I'm most concerned about midfield. And I'm most concerned about midfield, not because of the lack of goals, although you are absolutely spot on, Marky. I'm concerned about midfield because they still don't look like they know how to defend on transition.
That's the problem.
And that causes a massive problem for our defence, which also isn't great. So that's a problem in itself. I think when you haven't got great defenders, like I don't think we have, I think you need a very solid midfield who stop a lot of counter-attacks at source, and they don't do that, which is a problem.
Yeah, a very, very good point. Right, we are going to have a cheery end to the show. Ross Turnbull's Tenaball, and the category is most valuable squads. So I want you to work together to name the top 10 clubs with the most valuable under 21 players according to Transfermarkt. There are 10 teams. And I'm sure you're getting all 10. Chelsea are on there, 242 million euros. They're fourth.
Barcelona
are top, 444 million euros.
Half of that's just Lamine Yamal.
Yeah. I'm going to have to look
Pedri's
that
the
up,
other half.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Real Madrid's got to be one, surely.
Second, 320 million.
Yeah.
Man United?
Yes, 193. They're seventh. Just so you know, Lamine Yamal is rated on Transfermarkt at 120 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big portion, isn't it?
Can't even count that high.
Wow.
Who else has
Man
really
City?
good young players?
Man City are not on this list.
Bayern Munich.
They don't really have good young players, do they?
205 million euros. Bayern Munich are in fifth. If you wondered, it's Gavi. Dortmund are not. Gavi's at 90 million and Pedri's at 80 million.
Oh, interesting.
So
I
yeah,
can
it's,
sleep well
it's
tonight now.
basically them. It's basically it's basically them, isn't it?
Who else has young
Liverpool?
squad?
Arsenal?
No.
Wow. I'm going to go for a rogue one. Ajax.
No.
Atletico.
Wow. No. Wow.
I thought Ajax would have. So
This
how
is
many are
tough,
left?
actually.
How many are left? No.
5.
About 7.
Spurs?
5.
Spurs are ninth at 129 million euros.
Wow.
One
PSG?
more English. Yes, 262 million. They're third. You've got two German teams and an English team.
Leverkusen.
Yeah, 161 million. Eighth.
Of course.
Villa?
No.
Newcastle.
No.
Brighton.
Yes, 202 million. More than Man
Great
United, more than Leverkusen, more than Spurs, and more than the 10th team.
You said this last one's a German team.
Yes.
Mönchengladbach?
Stuttgart.
No.
Eintracht Frankfurt.
No. Surprised you haven't gone for the obvious one. Young players.
But we have.
Young players.
I'm pretty sure we said all the
Yeah, we've said.
teams.
I said Dortmund. We've said Bayern.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Stuttgart. I don't know what other ones there are.
Yeah.
Wolfsburg?
Oh my. There's no way you've missed the one team that always produces young players in Germany.
Werder Bremen?
No.
Dortmund. Yeah, Dortmund.
How can you
We've been
not?
through this, Mikey.
This is a team.
Sorry,
But-
am I missing something
Yes.
here? What?
This team are.
Mikey, I'm telling you.
Leipzig.
Wow,
Leipzig.
Thank
Leipzig.
you. Red Bull
Leipzig.
Leipzig. How could that? That is literally a team that just do that for a job.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Yeah,
they've
all
been
Dortmund are more
around for
known for it,
ages,
though.
haven't they? Not exactly a historic club, are they? Come on.
Why?
So, no
I
offense.
think-
no,
personally,
I think
Leipzig.
Werder Bremen was a better shout.
Racing Ball.
Also,
Racing-
do they produce a lot of good young players?
They
Well,
made
they-
on Kunku.
Through the system, they do.
They've made a few.
10-5.
They made Werner and Kunku. I think Matthias.
And Kunku
Tell,
weren't he
maybe?
PSG first, though?
I don't know.
Who?
Yes,
They were
Oh,
under the
yeah, he
umbrella
was. In
before they
Conku,
went
was
big.
it? PSG, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but he was under the umbrella when it went bang, didn't it? So
Yeah. I'm just going to look here. Let's see who the highest players are at the moment. From
Have you named them all now, by the way?
Yeah, you've got all 10.
Okay, done. Yeah,
Well done,
sweet.
Tim. I'm just checking. There is not a lot of. To be fair, you're right. Actually, from the RB Leipzig Academy.
yeah, not tons, but they've
No,
had
not
they
a lot.
they do a lot. They like Xavi Siemens.
I'm guessing because they pick them up from like Salzburg and.
yeah, they pick them
Because-
up from Salzburg or they pick them up from any of their other teams.
Did
or-
Werner come through their academy?
No, he went from
No.
Stuttgart. He was at
No.
Stuttgart.
Yeah,
If
I didn't
remember.
think I didn't think he did because he wasn't young when we signed him.
I remember him
Yeah,
at
that
Stuttgart.
was when we didn't just sign kids.
Yeah, he was at Stuttgart, and then
No,
he
but they know
moved-
how to develop players well, don't they?
True.
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
the
the
thing.
Bundesliga in general, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
that's true.
Bundesliga is good for young players.
Yeah, he went. Remember, Werner went from 28 in 34 league games to us with 6 in 35. Oh,
Yeah, it's because we
Yeah,
played him as
well.
a striker.
yeah, he shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Never do that. Right. Thank you for listening to this episode. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Friday because there's another game to review, and I think it's Real Madrid. Oh, my
God.
word.
That'll be good.
That's.
Can't wait.
Is
I
it
want
4-0 win.
I can't wait to see Vinicius just sprinting down
Hang
our
on,
defense
let
on the
me see what
counter attack.
we
Oh,
can't
no.
really make excuses because it's on at exactly midnight on Wednesday.
So
So
Mbappe and Vinicius and Endrick all dunking on our heads
Yeah,
and Bellingham
that's
as
gonna
well.
be-
That's gonna
that's-
be fun.
that's gonna
That's
be
gonna be a
fun.
whale of a time.
well, till then, positivity. We're going to win. Maybe we'll win one of the halves, and we might win the possession battle. That's what matters at the end of the day. So with that, that's us signing. You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.